guys need to color coordinate on this is.
Right?
We'll be the,
Look at
You're
that
the
sheet
cool
down there.
kids club.
They went yellow to green,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Didn't
impressive.
get the memo.
You know, I'm just going to say that it's all right, we know where those two are.
yeah.
Right.
We're the
We wear
troublemakers.
bells and-
We should put a flag up next time.
The bells are
Hazard
called,
lights.
safety yellow.
Oh, who's seen? Somebody's.
There's the blue color markers on that end.
Oh.
Don't call them sir or ma'am, cause they work for a living.
Oh,
You wouldn't believe what Nate made his grandson do on the last playground. He made him pour all that concrete by himself. That poor little grandbaby.
Gotta learn somehow.
Got you, Emily?
Yep.
He had to do the, support on the seat and holding him.
Pull every lever and button and push everything.
Mayor, did you get my email?
I did. I was gonna block you.
Right, sorry, you gotta stay.
I would love to, make it happen.
Right.
I still have a Townsend address. There's gotta be some
Coordinate.
something written somewhere.
where did you move to, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in the process of moving out to Cook's Landing.
No? Gail Watson, the duplexes up there, those are nice.
She's got a double wide trailer home on the back 40. So I'm moving into that.
The wind doesn't blow out there, it's just a myth.
It's a minute.
Yeah.
I like the sound of wind.
You want to hear?
Only when it's light and when it's dark. I lived out there for a while, I know.
It's
Back in the
it's
day.
sometimes better than being in town and your neighbor's shit blowing up against your house, waking you up out of a dead sleep, like,
Hot
what was
mic,
that?
Just so you know, hot mic. You're being recorded right
Oh,
Oh, cool.
cool. I don't mind, I'll say to everybody's face, nail down your yard stuff, thank you, Dad. I'd like that to be stricken from the record, I was not informed I was being recorded ahead of time.
Don't worry, you can claim your stuff in North Dakota later.
It'll be on the front page of the MT-43.
Hey, Nate,
Did you hear what she
where
said?
do I ask about the council not spending that?
Hold it, show me where it is. I speak construction, thank you very much.
now. We would need to get that on the agenda, actually. You can bring it up under the round table. It doesn't.
You wanna talk about ice going across their head through all these documents for the water tower?
Meeting
I'm like,
for
ugh.
the council person, or anything under 500, I not
All it is.
We should bring it up under fireworks committee since it's on the agenda.
Oh, sure.
I could do that.
Thanks.
You said.
Well, all 88 screening results tallied from the survey.
Is that good?
Alrighty. Council meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do we have public comment on any matter not on the agenda but under the city's jurisdiction? Stacy and Noah. And let me just apologize for not having you on the agenda tonight, so.
It's alright, so we got back to you about those maps that you requested, and we have a few options, like, that are already on there listed, and a few that aren't. One option that isn't listed is by the kickball field. That, she didn't pick that because, balls could be flying near it, but it's a kickball. How hard can you hit it? Does it, would you like one of these, sir? Alright, so we have three options, And since they aren't building their larger park because it's not big enough, that means like either of them work. We can also put them near the benches by the basketball park, we just don't have them laid out. But, option 2, I think would be our best.
We're just basically being, what we're kinda suggesting is that we plan on having a swing set and a playground in the future, so making sure that we earmark that spot now.
Because
The
right
plan
now,
is, the plan is to try to put the playground in, but we might be able to get both of them done in spring.
but if we can only get the playground in, then what we're looking at for the maps is half the area.
So, shed.
Where is the playground equipment currently?
Okay, so it is like, this is the building coming in there, and the swing set sits right there.
Okay.
So, main building, I didn't hold up, right, the main building, the swing set is right there.
Just, I was thinking we'd do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, and the
This is concession stand.
that's the concession stand. Originally, we thought about putting it right to the concession stand, but unfortunately, it's a manhole right there.
Yeah, that's literally, it's not too old. I think it launches from all of ours.
Well, right here, I think. 'Cause there's a back.
It's
Is
a
it long
short
way?
fence, that's all the way.
Which of the buildings?
I guess they're gonna have to use this building right
Is this all
now.
T-ball? That'd be
I'm not
nice.
sure.
That's what I was just asking Nate, was about T-ball.
You're wrong.
Yeah, 'cause I think T-ball's right here,
There's like a backstop or a fence
right?
Yeah, it's over a little bit further this way, that's
for the
that's
north.
actually the playground, those are the 3 logs right there that sit there, is that what they use for T-ball?
Well, there's about 2 poles of fence just so that safety for the kids waiting at that. But I don't recall where it was at.
I used to wish there was
That's the 3 pools that are there, they're like great big timbers.
Maybe
if they do T-ball there, that isn't, that can't be really
It's not
the
big.
base is only like 10
because
feet.
they're on the backside of the baseball field,
Yeah,
with the
they're
bigger
fast.
boys.
I don't think it'd be at the same time though. Cause they'll do
Hope
T-ball
not.
over here, and I think here.
Okay.
This may be older than T-ball, I don't know.
Noah, do you have anything else that you'd like to say tonight to council?
Yeah, so I know there are some concerns about T-ball right here, and I understand that we really like having these parks, but it's also important that these, like, especially younger kids, have a place that, you know, stimulates them, that's bright, that they can hop around on. And I think that would be a lot more beneficial to their health and for the overall, like, good of the community if they had somewhere to burn all their energy other than an empty field.
Okay, and your proposal is playground, the swings and playground equipment. That's what
Yes.
you're talking about.
future swings.
Future swings, we're hoping to do both in spring, but I can only guarantee one at this point. And the other discussion point, maybe you guys can help us, is on the second to last page, they sent us those colors. And any input on colors would be very welcome at this point, because we weren't that impressed with the colors.
These are pretty similar to what's down here,
They're,
Heritage.
they're brown, red, and blue down here. But this is a super bright blue.
So this takes away the existing swing set
Uh-huh.
and then puts in a new ADA swing set with the play structure or just the play structure?
Play structure for sure, and if I can get the swing set financed, then we'll put the swing set in.
Okay.
You can.
Uh-huh.
For sure.
Council, what I would suggest is, since we did not have this on the agenda, we cannot take action tonight on this, but that we, get these pictures to Eric,
Okay,
so that he can look at them and offer his input, feedback. And just to bring all of you up to speed, Eric did have a conversation with John Bliley, who'd walked the field, and apparently there's not enough room to expand that field the way that he had envisioned originally. So, the possibility we were looking at it having some sort of a conflict between this proposal and that baseball one seems to have gone away, okay? There's still the proposal to put that second shed, storage shed there, which, as I recall, did not interfere with this, okay?
Thank you.
Any final questions for Noah and or Stacy? Okay, we will have you on the agenda for the next meeting. How about that? Okay.
Thank you guys, thank you.
So you can look at this as maybe something you'd like to do, Noah, when you are an adult, you wanna come to council meetings every 2 weeks or so.
Oh, I'm going off to boot camp as soon as I turn 18.
So much better than council
I
meetings.
think the better choice you've made.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for
very
being
much.
here. Okay, council has received the minutes from the November, any other public comment? Okay. Has received the minutes from November 5th, 2024. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? If there not, I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 5th meeting.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the November 5th, 2024 council meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, Water Committee. One of you, would you like to speak to the recommendation of award for the Townsend Water System bids?
I would, Mayor, if I may.
Sure.
So I did take the time to read through everything, even though I wasn't able to make it to the water committee meeting. And, in my professional experience and opinion, I feel that these bids are fair and accurate, and the budget is well, accommodated. And, I don't really see any major issues with, any scope gaps or anything that might blow the budget out of the water. Of course, there's always contingencies, but it seems pretty smooth. These guys are also very well known and established in this state, and they are local contractors, so that makes me very happy. So I recommend that we move forward and get these contracts out.
Any comments from Angie or Vivian?
I agree.
Okay. Would entertain a motion then to award the Schedule 1 project to CK May Excavating, Inc. in the amount of $3,028,565, and the Schedule 2 bid to Cobb Construction LLC in the amount of $8,232,000.
I make a motion that we award the Schedule 1 contract for CK May Excavating in the amount of, what is written here, $3,028,565. And we award the Phase 2 to COP Construction LLC in the amount of $8,232,000 and move forward.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded to award the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 bids. I'm going to just sort of summarize as recommended by our engineers, having those two bids be the low bids for each of the schedules. Is there any discussion? I did provide council with a copy of the current budget as a result of these bids. That's on this sheet. And the total with this project now with the low bids and the $5 million loan forgiveness is $14,479,956, which is $2,245,000 less than the project estimates we had in June. So that's good there. Also, one other piece of information relative to the water system. Peter, would you like to speak to the site opinion?
Yes, so, I spoke with, Lloyd Poe, well, I spoke with Linda Poe last week, who gave me a little bit of grief and said that she would probably sell it for about the price of a new Corvette or something like that. But she was just joking around. She said, if Lloyd signs off on, the quitclaim deed, that she would as well. And I spoke with Lloyd, it was either yesterday or today, and yeah, he said he was on board, so all I gotta do is just tomorrow or Thursday, send the quitclaim deed up to him, along with a, priority envelope to come back to us. I will meet with Linda Poe, get her signature, and personally take it down to the clerk and recorder, wait till it's recorded, and bring it back here, and put it in the vault. And, so after that, we will have all of the, property accounting for the title opinion, so I can say that we either own or have legal access to all of the property involved in the project, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and thank you again to, Vicky and Carrie and Jenny and, anyone that searched for all those records. The little bit that we came up with, or really Vicky came up with in those minutes is what, convinced them that the transaction happened. I think Linda was on the fence, because she didn't remember it all. It was only Lloyd that remembered it, but being able to put that to them in the letter, they agreed that was enough evidence, so, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Any further discussion or information? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. And this is really getting real now. So I have a couple of documents to sign and send off to the engineers now, and we'll get that done and continue forward then. I know.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what
Yes.
happens now, going forward, after that happens?
Construction starts.
No
The-
date on that yet, they gotta give us that date, I'm guessing.
The schedules include a maximum number of calendar days for each of the schedules, and through the bidding process, the contractors are given an option to, if they feel like they can start now, they can. They want to wait in the spring, they can do that. And I think that probably the Schedule 1 contractor will probably wanna start now, cause that's a lot of the dirt work.
Yep, and we've been lucky this year, and the ground has not frozen yet, so if he's got a light schedule, he'll jump on that right away. Cause the spring might not be so forgiving. We might have a white spring.
That is
That's
true.
wonderful.
Just as a reminder with respect to this water system and the water rates, that it's premature to do this now, but my intention is to pay attention to where we are in terms of that total project cost. And if it looks like we can reduce the water rates, I'll come to council with that proposal too.
Wouldn't that be something?
You know,
Sure makes some people happy if that's possible.
or less upset.
We just don't
Anyway.
wanna get ahead of the cart.
Right,
No.
right, as I said, it's way too premature to do that now.
Under the radar.
Under the radar, there's contingencies in construction, you all know that, like
Well, even
unforeseens.
just tell anybody might, it's a possibility, not a good idea, rumors start that way.
Yep.
Oh, I've been clear on that.
Not
In all the public meetings. So the next item on the agenda is our request for legal services. JB is under the weather tonight, that's why he is not here. But he did ask for information relative to the legal services that we had requested back in 2018. So you have in your packet the advertisement that went into the paper. And the information that we would expect from anyone. That's the last two.
Last two pages.
The proposal information that we would be looking for from any respondents to that request. We'll get that updated with the appropriate names and emails there. And the last page there is the legal services scope of work. When we did that the last time, Peter, we of course included item number 5, which is acting on behalf of the city in all criminal and civil court matters. And then there's a reference to criminal cases on item number 7 too,
Yep.
where appear on behalf of the city to prosecute and defend all civil and criminal cases in these courts.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking that we need to modify that language now, just because we're still in that interlocal agreement with the county for criminal prosecution.
I think that it's probably okay to leave that in there and just have that discussion, that is in place. But,
Okay.
as you know, Corey won after, the discussion last weekend, so, I mean, he's gonna be leaving, and I haven't heard anything about, what's gonna happen over there, who they're gonna hire. I think the deputy attorney his position is still open. I know they have that second deputy, Kaylin Miner, but she was civil work, she was not doing criminal work, so, I would leave it in there and just have that discussion that most likely we're gonna need someone unless we figure out something with the county.
Okay.
Because otherwise, nothing in the city's gonna get prosecuted while the county's figuring that out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can speak to a couple of the cases. Kaylin is trying to come up to speed with respect to the animal control
Okay.
cases that are at the county, but how soon that happens, or whether she ends up actually having to take that on, as you said, we don't know yet.
right. So is she then by statute or anything else, like elevated to full county attorney by virtue of Corey's pending absence, or I haven't looked at that?
I believe a vacancy in that elected position is filled similarly to a vacancy in the city's elected,
Okay,
that the commissioners, I think, advertise, interview, and appoint to fill that position until the next scheduled election,
well, okay.
but I'm not positive on that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think it just behooves us to, stay in touch with them and, evaluate whether continuing in that, interlocal agreement is in our interest, depending on, the applications that come and their experience with the criminal work, what that sort of would look like as far as a cost to the city. Because it is pretty effective, cost-wise, I think, for the city, for the county to handle that, all in one spot, but, yeah, that's gonna be a moving target, I think,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks for the counsel.
Yeah,
Council members, do you have any questions or comments on this piece of information?
When are we
Yes.
gonna run this?
It will go in the, we can get it onto some listservs tomorrow,
Right.
okay? It'll go in the 43 News next week though, because
When
that,
is the deadline for applications?
oh, that would be, I think
Right.
we would want to have that, the proposals probably in by yesterday. But realistically speaking, I would think December 20th.
and again, I'm prepared to extend my contract, a month or two. There you go. I'm not gonna leave a gap in coverage, so,
We're gonna do our due diligence to free you though.
No, we're not.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I
At
can
least on
attest.
record we
Did
are.
you say 6 months?
On the record, we are. But I, for one, appreciate your willingness to do
Yeah,
that,
thank
Peter,
you.
so
Okay, so
is
December third,
December
20th by
20th,
5
okay
p.m.
with council? Okay, okay, all right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Moving right along. The City Hall garage door quote, Eric had gotten one, and then he and I were talking, and we thought maybe with respect to, you know, I think it's over $1,000, that maybe we ought to get a second quote, and he's still waiting on that, so that we have some options to present to you.
Is that wallet back here?
Yes, yes. There's a gap about that much. And while it hasn't been a huge issue with water coming into that shop area, there has been some. And we thought maybe now would be a good time to clean our own house with respect to potential flooding in buildings.
Yeah, there's no drains in there? In the back? I mean, it's not gonna solve the problem, I'm just saying, if
No.
we push water to the drain.
So I'm going to say there probably is, because this was a car dealership
Yeah.
building
Okay.
way back in the
So
day,
that's
and
what I thought,
that's,
My dad worked there.
yes.
Thank you.
Bought my first car from this place. It was a lime green Vega, right there on the showroom floor.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, the next item, I received an email from the Montana Substance Use Resources Group. It's a group of people that have a website that provides links to substance use or abuse resources for people. And the request is, would we, the city, put a link to their website on our website? I was uncomfortable just saying yes. I wanted council to weigh in on that. I've looked at the website, doesn't look like they're selling anything. Just, here are resources for Montana, here are resources for another state. What do you think?
One resource is a good resource.
Yeah, and you know, if someone is quietly looking for help, the first place they're gonna look is their own city's website, so, you know, it makes sense to have something there.
I know that on our city website, we have services listed for, you know, various things. Do we have a substance abuse thing? Cause I mean, we used to have like a group, or there is a group that still meets in town too. But if we do have a substance, sorry,
Oh, that's okay.
you know, area for that, then it would be nice to have those other organizations that are local too on there.
I directed the requester to both the school and the county, public health. And I could have left it at that. I still think though that maybe this is a good thing to put on the city's website, because you never know who's looking for what, where.
Larry, do we know, is it nonprofit?
It is a nonprofit, a family-owned and run, essentially, place. If you would rather take a look at the website yourselves, I can send you the link, and we could talk about this next time.
Like, if you look at
Yeah,
nonprofit,
okay,
schools, county.
okay,
That's fine. It'd be
Alright.
cool if they tied in our local resources with their site, cause not everybody can go to Helena, you know? And certainly don't want drunk people driving down after a meeting.
When I looked at the resources available in Montana, there are links to various communities.
Fabulous. I'm all for it, Mayor.
Okay,
Yeah.
we will get it done then.
Thank you.
By
Do we need
consensus
to
of
make a
council?
motion?
I think consensus of council on this one is okay.
Yep.
All right. We were supposed to have a representative from the Trails Committee here tonight, but I don't see him, so we're moving on. any update on ordinance review?
In the minutes, it said last meeting that I stated that we were on track, and now I'm not so sure. We're gonna be missing the telecommunications, with Peter's exit. I'm not sure exactly where the fireworks committee and how far they are. We're still awaiting, JB to schedule the
Thursday,
next
right.
events committee, so,
That's right.
not quite sure.
Okay, we'll get that
And I've
figured
been
out.
kinda waiting for the events and the fireworks to kinda conclude before we move into,
Okay.
the council conduct and ethics, because the members of those committees are also involved in that committee.
Okay. No updates on dog kennel or cat ordinance at this time. Fireworks committee ordinance.
Okay, so our pickle right now is, we used a free survey site for our survey, and they only allow you 10 questions and 25 responses. And when you have over that, then they tell you that they want you to pay to get the rest of those responses. So the 1 month survey payment is $99. So does the fireworks committee just go with the data from that 25 only, or do we pay to get the full 88?
Ooh, that's a good, response.
That is a good response.
That at one time, $99, pretty much.
So,
We
may I,
can,
Mayor, since this is
Certainly.
my last meeting?
No, it isn't.
No? I get one more?
No, you don't.
You too.
Did you get the memo?
I'm sorry, I was thinking it was earlier in November.
No.
Yeah, okay.
For fireworks, I think the community's opinions are very important and valid. And if you had 88 responses, I think could be a lot of value in having all 88 responses, because you don't know of the 25, if it's actual clear picture. I don't know what the questions were, but if it's an actual clear picture of what our community wants. And as city council members, it's our job to be the voice of our community. So $99 in the grand scheme of things, it's like pennies.
I would ask, there's an option with an annual fee, and what is that?
the annual, I believe, was $39 a month.